Hello all, my name is Sam, or Samuel, whichever you prefer, and welcome to my attempt at a Pokemon Omega Ruby Fairies Only Hardcore Nuzlocke Challenge. And hello to you, future Sam. This is past Sam, still in the research phase of the video. Did you have fun? Did Roxanne and Watson make you cry? And just how usable is Mawile? Anyways, just think back to the good old days. Alright, cool. Love you. Bye. Well, greetings past Sam, future Sam here. I just got back from the flying car store. Since it's the future. Anyways, to address your questions in order, I did have fun. One might even be tempted to say, a lot of fun. Roxanne made me grit my teeth a few times, but it wasn't anything we couldn't handle. And Watson is no issue. Stop overthinking it, you dingus. Mawile is incredible. That little monster next to Gardevoir carried this run. Oh, I see you're still here. So I'm guessing you caught that exchange between Caveman Sam and myself. So it's safe to assume you have an inkling of an idea of my initial concerns. So being a Hoenn and fairly biased, I think ORAS was my favorite remake so far. Did nearly everything correctly in my opinion. It updated the mechanics, graphics, types, moves, and basically everything else while more or less preserving the base game. There were some quality of life changes made that made minor adjustments to your journey, but it mostly plays like its 2002 counterpart. Wait, 2002? What the fuck? In the comment section of my Y version Felines run, one Danny Doyle suggested I do a fairy run in a game where fairy didn't originally exist. That limited my options between BDSP and ORAS. I was already planning on doing an ORAS run, so the idea sounded perfect. Thanks, Danny. And in normal Sam or Samuel fashion, I misread my encounters list and chose Alpha Sapphire initially, instead of Omega Ruby. Normally the differences between versions is pretty superficial, but Sableye is Sapphire exclusive and Mawile is Ruby exclusive. This one tiny distinction between the two ensure that I chose poorly. The first couple of runs is played on Sapphire, but as soon as I make it to Granite Cave, I realize my f*** up. We'll get there though. I just wanted to open up with that you'll see some initial Sapphire gameplay before I switch over to Ruby. Either way, my encounter list is capital shallow. I've got Gardevoir, Mawile, Azumarill, and Wigglytuff. And that's it. Luckily, Gardevoir is a goat, so they can PogChamp their way through most of the game. I'm playing with my standard hardcore rule set, which I'll post in the description below, as well as my Google Drive link to my rule sheet. But they're basically as follows. First eligible encounter per route is my only encounter. Fainted Pokemon leave this mortal coil. Set game mode. I can use items in battle. Just kidding, none of that shit. Levels don't matter. Another joke, don't pass the leaders. No Mega Evolution. A third joke, and actually, no, keep those stones away from me. Okie dokie artichoke, let's see how it went. Spiel. Kalos Chromosome. X and Y. Samuel. For now. I've been a good boy, and Mother Dearest finally allows me to exit the back of the truck. Mom and this Machoke have, like a weirdly tense moment. Is Dad being cucked? May flexes her new 3DS face. Birch is still getting walled by this level 3 joke. I pick up Torchic, because they're right there. Blah blah blah, tutorial. Spoiler alert, I see this many more times. I'll just skip ahead to my actual starter, routes. I've decided to let myself reroll for female routes since Gallade loses fairy type. And at the time I didn't realize it, but this would prove to be the first big hurdle of the game. Just finding a damn female routes. Routes is a 5% encounter and has a 50-50 chance to be male or female. I don't know if this is quite how the math works out since I'm not an esthetician, but that sounds like a 2.5% encounter rate for me. I finally find a female routes, and when I was running this, my wife for some reason had the banana bread at work today video stuck in her head, which means it was stuck in my head. So I landed on bread as my nickname theme, and routes is named Banana. I named my dead box Hell No. And Skunks the Torchic is dropped off. I had this real honorable intention of training routes the fucking stupid and unnecessary way. Since she only has Growl, I have to first run that down to 0, running and potioning between fights, then try and struggle through a couple opponents to level up to 4, where she learns Confusion, and can actually fight. You may think, Sam, that's stupid. Struggle does 1/4 of your health every time. There's no way that, and let me cut you off there, buckaroo. That's not how it always was, and I didn't know. So I ditched that idea, and decide the run actually starts when routes hits level 4. So Banana learns Confusion, I'm feeling pretty good, and then Wally's all, excuse me, I want Pokemon. Knowing that routes is a 5% encounter, I figure Wally won't have to worry about the dilemma I just escaped. Huge oof, small brain play, RIP, F's in chat, etc, etc. I burned through the local Zigzagoon and Wurmple population, and I think I can see Birch's Poochyenosphere, seeing as Banana has no moves at the moment to damage them. Of course, I forget this for a single second, while grinding and staring off into space, and well, attempt 2, I painfully catch more potassium, with this one having Trace, which was the ability I was hoping for out of the two. With the upcoming Grunt battle weighing on my mind for this whole run so far, I trained Banana up to 11, where she learns Disarming Voice, allowing me to actually damage dark types. A single crit puts the Hound down. I proceed off to Rust Burrow, scope out the gym's layout to see if there's any required fights, and then train Banana up to the level limit. Now if you recall, whilst in my research phase, I realized this battle was going to be a crapshoot. I plugged the max EV IV routes into a calculator against Roxanne, and without some bullshit trickery and dumb luck, this battle was going to be hard. So I open against Geodude with Banana, trace their sturdy, drop a double team, and get hit with a 49.999% Rock Tomb, not triggering my parry. I pop out 2 more double teams while avoiding more Rock Tombs, and put Geodude down with 2 confusions. Roxanne sends her ace Nosepass out, who thankfully misses their Rock Tomb, allowing Banana to do like maybe about 30%. But at least we inflicted confusion, so yay for that I guess. The next turn, another weak attack while Nosepass breaks through the confusion and lands the Rock Tomb, bringing Banana down to 6 HP before the Oran Berry. Next, Nosepass recovers from confusion, is faster due to the Rock Tomb, and lands through the 6x evasion with a tackle doing exactly half of my remaining health. My only hope now is a few more misses since Roxanne potions up. This is not the case though, and Nosepass cuts through the evasion and ends attempt 2. Attempt 3, because I keep forgetting to set a save state after the tutorial business, I play through the beginning of the game for a 3rd time. Banana avoids me for 20 minutes straight before presenting her synchronized variant. Cool. Grinding, and basically an identical Roxanne fight. Attempt 4. I play through the intro for a 4th time, again having forgotten to set a save state. And having gotten exhausted of circling that same grass patch, make another addendum to the run, allowing myself to fight 1 additional trainer with Torchic to get to the grass patch next to Petalburg, which has routes show up in the overworld, allowing for much quicker acquisition. Snatch up Banana again, this time sporting Trace. And Banana has a plus speed nature this time, which is not terrible, so I feel pretty good, which is usually a bad sign. Attempt 5, I watch the intro again, synchronize routes, and this stupid version of Banana is an absolute crit magnet, and this gym trainer ends attempt 5. So I watch the intro again, catch routes, and then I realize this is Gen 6. I have super training. I really should ban this from my runs, but it is just too helpful and saves so much grind time. With Banana pushing level 15, I open with a single double team since Pokemon doesn't seem to care whether I'm +2 or +6. Geodude, as is tradition, lands her first Rock Tomb. Luckily, the next turn I dodge the Rock Tomb and Banana brings Geodude down under half with a confusion. I think for a second there, maybe a weaker Disarming Voice can fail to kill and let Roxanne waste her potion here instead. So, Banana crits and kills of course. Geodude was never the point of concern here though, and Nosepass returns to the field. Nosepass misses her first tackle, which is refreshing from previous bouts, and Confusion does about 30% damage still. The next turn, Banana peels away from a tackle. It brings Nosepass into the orange. Tackle finally lands, procs my Oran Berry, and Confusion leaves Nosepass with a sliver and confuses in the process. Unfortunately, this means Roxanne uses her potion, and Banana's next Confusion brings her back into the orange. Of course, Nosepass cuts through the evasion again and lands a second tackle as she's brought into the red with another Confusion. Though, with how these tackles have been landing, Banana can sweat off another tackle, so this battle should be in the bag. Next turn, Nosepass cuts through the evasion for a 3rd time in a row, and lands a crit, leaving me with a very bruised Banana sitting at 3 HP as she finally finishes the battle with a final Confusion. Finally landing my first badge, I give Roxanne the finger and I'm ready to play the game. Story. I pick up Cut. I can't wait to not use this. Finally making it to Granite Cave, I can't help but realize this is different, and I can't even access my sweet little Nightmare Mawile yet. So I take my frustration out on this unsuspecting group of fighters, with Banana sporting a sweet 4x resistance. If you look here, Brawly just has the word LOL next to his name on my research page. I'll just tell you this. I won. I USPS my way over to the Prodigal Son, and then hitch a ride over to Slateport where Aqua, not Magma, puts up very little challenge. Here, I earned the right to participate in capitalism, and with the level limit being 21 and Banana balletifying at level 20, I figured this was the time to show May what's for. 3 echoed voices takes the tanky little Shroomish down, 1 takes Slug My Balls down, and 2 takes Marsh Stomp down. Sorry not sorry, May. And with Mauville reached, I now have access to my next 2 encounters. A Meryl with Thick Fat who I named Pumpkin, then I rush down to Granite Cave, run around a bit, and find Sableye. Then it clicks in my head. I decide, besides the villain organizations, this is the biggest difference between versions, and I PK Hex transform my Sableye into Mawile, give her an accurate moveset to the level, the name Multigrain, and proceed like I didn't just drastically alter the entire run. I then spend a long time super training, grinding Pumpkin and Multigrain up to the level cap, since regardless of the run I'm doing, Watson gives me the spoops. However, Oras gives you some pretty great TMs to purchase right in Mauville, so I snatch up Power Up Punch, jack up Multigrain's attack EVs, and that little Fudakuchiona was all I needed to put Watson in his place. Even though Banana accidentally overleveled, she really shouldn't be around steel types. I open with Multigrain against Watson's Magnemite and immediately start getting beefy with Power Up Punch. Magnemite drops a T-Wave turn 1, but my Cherry Berry heals that, and a second Power Up Punch puts Magnemite down. When Voltorb comes out, they immediately Volt Switch into Magnetron, so my third punch brings them into the orange. Magnetron confuses Multigrain the next turn. Multigrain is all, "Oh, I'm confused alright. Confused why you're still here. Watcha!" Then Watson is all, "You fool, you played right into my hand. Taste my charge." Then Voltorb dies to another Power-Up Punch. The least favorite update I've seen so far is that Watson gives me Volt Switch instead of Shockwave. Boo! I unfortunately have to waste one of Multigrain's move slots for Rock Smash to proceed any further. May starts talking about the second stage at Torchic for some reason. And like a wizard, I slip by all these Meteor Fall optional encounters. Wouldn't it be funny if Nintendo just programmed peripheral vision into their games just randomly one day? Having gotten just way too confident, Banana gets assured to death by Archie Sharpedo. The rest of the battle goes off without a hitch, and I sulk my way down a lava ridge, feeling pretty crummy about losing a third of my team and a fourth of my overall availability. And while trying to get to Flannery, Pumpkin overlevels, leaving me with just my little Steel Fairy Multigrain. And I shut the game down, snatch up Omega Ruby, and start attempt 1. Just kidding. Time for attempt 7. So I watch the intro, and I pick up a bold Banana with Trace, plus attack, minus defense. Yowzers. That's a non-ideal nature. Banana once again barely scrapes past Roxanne, spits in Brawly's face. I slog my way through the Slateport section just trying to pick up Pumpkin and Multigrain again. This time Multigrain has Hypercutter instead of the Intimidate I gave her last time, and Pumpkin has huge power. After another lengthy training session, this leads me back to Watson, and I give him nearly an identical battle to before, except I finish the battle up with Banana after Multi took a nasty Volt Switch leaving her in the orange. I make it through the maxi fight without any casualties and happily skip my way down the mountain to Lava Ridge. I abuse all the gym trainers to get Pumpkin leveled up to face Flannery. Loaded up with huge power and Aqua Tail, I'm not wildly concerned. For the first time in Pokemon history, I use Water Sport for its intended purpose as Slugma sets up a light screen. Sorry Flannery, but Pumpkin's a physical attacker. Aqua Tail kills Slugma, Numel, and sends Torkoal to the orange as they miss an overheat before going down to another Aqua Tail. And with that, one of the easiest Flannery fights I've ever had, with the game literally telling me there's nothing else to do now. Fight your father? So I go fight my father. I open with Multigrain against Papa's first Slacking, and you guessed it, threw a Power-Up Punch. Slacking isn't very amused and yawns. Thankfully, I've planned for this, and Multigrain is holding a Chesto Berry, so this gives MG 2 more turns to throw Power-Up Punches. Slacking yawns again, but after Multi's third punch, Norman Hyper Potions the following turn and takes about half damage from Multigrain's fourth punch. Multigrain does fall asleep this turn, and Slacking's turn gives me a turn to try and wake up, to no avail. Then, with me expecting some damage, Slacking just does an encore, locking me into Power-Up Punch. Oh no? Multigrain is having the siesta of her life though, and stays asleep through the encore, and the next truant turn. And finally, only after getting smacked by Retaliate, does she wake up and finally put Slacking down. And instead of using Retaliate, Vigoroth encores again? Oh no? Again? A 6 Power-Up Punch gets Multigrain up to +6 attack and one-shots the Vigoroth. And when the second Slacking comes out, Norman basically throws the match and uses Chip Away instead of Retaliate, which, for those who don't know, is a 140 power move when used right after a team member faints. Even resisting it, Multigrain would hate to eat one of those. Slacking goes into the orange, teetering on red, and while on their truant turn, dies to an 8th and final Power-Up Punch from Multigrain. Dad getting f***ed by fighting moves again. I really appreciate the game offering to fast travel me places. It helps with editing time. Game Freak always thinking about us content creators. And while trying to explore the map a bit before proceeding, Banana evolves a Gardevoir. And since I have Surf now, I can go grab my last encounter for the run, a Jigglypuff who is named Wonder. And because I doubt I'll get much use out of her, I'm sort of just goofing around and throw a repeat ball and catch her. Steven comes bursting out of the bushes and is all, "Sup, I'm an inciting incident." Some stuff happens, Latios is all, "Dope, I'm yours now." So I name him the bread alternative, Tortilla. This band of ruffians approach, and AoE attacks against horde battles are my favorite. I then make an ancient 17-year-old internet reference. Magma screws with a bunch of cloud nerds, and after educating them on the real dangers of global warming, the cloud nerds give me a cast form, who I give another bread alternative name to, Hand. May does something. I don't know. I looked away for a second. When I looked back, she was running away in tears. Steven lets me borrow his VR headset, and it feels like I'm really there. Wow. Technology sure is amazing. Usually I tremble thinking about Winona, and not just because of those bedroom eyes she's shooting my way, because of that Altaria. However, this battle is really trivialized thanks to a fairy banana, so I'll just skim the key points. Charge beam boost, charge beam boost, charge beam, dazzling gleam, protect stall, insulting sidekick, badge. And there we go. 6 badges down, 2 to go, and a whole lot of story. May challenges me again? Wow. I'm still on the same page of script as our last fight, She Thirsty. I spent a long time on Lily Cove department roof, and there are some cool little polishes up here. Like, if you try to sit out of view under an umbrella, they actually shift the camera angle to show you. Neat. Courtney simps for Maxie as she tries me on for size, again. Seriously? I just found her on the same page of the script too. So I run all the way to Slateport, then run all the way back to Lily Cove, trudge my way through Magma HQ. These grunts get OHKO'd by a goddamn Wigglytuff. Then Courtney fights me again. Luckily I've just made it to the next page of the script, so at least she gave me an appropriate amount of time to feel safe again. I surf over to Moss Deep where I've actually double checked Tate and Liza's team to make sure I'm walking in prepared. I lead with Pumpkin and Banana, ready to quote unquote fight. I'll skim again, since Pumpkin took 52 damage total, and that's it. Shadow Ball, Solar Beam Charge, Light Screen, Aqua Tail, Shadow Ball, 52 damage, Aqua Tail, badge. Steven drags his child off to his American Psycho decorated home. Pumpkin unfortunately has to take a hit for the team and learn Dive, meaning half her moves are HM now. Sorry buddy. And then Multigrain has to learn Rock Smash to make it through this next trial of Magma bullshit. I trounce Maxie real fast. After Magma starts the beginning stages of a world-ending disaster, Maxie is all, "Teehee? Oops, I guess let's save the world together." And after a quick horsey ride to a second location, Groudon goes primal. They hit Pumpkin with some precipice blades when I was just trying to see if I could take down Groudon instead of just hugging a Master Ball. Pumpkin goes down to 25 HP and my Aqua Tail evaporates. So I catch Groudon and name them another bread alternative, Lettuce. Now that this child has successfully saved the region, possibly the world, everyone holds hands and kumbaya for a little bit. Looker must be on vacation. Steven gives me the Eon Flute. I tear up a little bit. It's so nice being able to fly around during a challenge run. So I stick my hand deep into this hole. Nothing noteworthy, 6 out of 10. Stuck my hand in better holes before. After goofing around the map for a bit, I take on Wallace. I open with Banana against Love Disc. She tries a sweet kiss as I Calm Mind. Luckily, Banana avoids and lets us set up a second Calm Mind as the Sweet Kiss lands and is immediately healed by my Persenberry. I go to throw a Thunderbolt, but Love Disc lands another Confuse, and Banana fails the check. 3 times. In a row. Before snapping out of it. I guess Banana can't be perfect in every way. Malak is next, gets hit with a Thunderbolt, gets paralyzed, and missed her Hydro Pump. Finally, BS RNG in my favor. Wallace does a quick heal, but 2 more Thunderbolts kills the pretty Gyarados. Magical Leaf, which I've held onto this whole game just for this moment, gets its one and only use against Wishcash. Celio goes down to a single Thunderbolt, as does Seeking, and this earns me my 8th and final badge. I wander around the darkness of Victory Road for a while since I refuse to teach Flash to anyone. Wally gets 2 Calm Minds, 2 Dazzling Gleams, and 3 Shadow Balls to end his hopes and dreams. After reaching the Elite 4 gates, I hop on Latios, back to Lily Cove to get rid of all these stupid HMs. And after a fun league journey, here's who we have to face off against the best Hoenn has to offer. Multigrain, the Lax Maywile with Hypercutter. Banana, the bold Gardevoir with Trace. Pumpkin, the gentle Azumarill with huge power. And this one too, I guess. Wonder, the mild Wigglytuff with competitive. The Ace Trainers barring my path step aside, in acknowledgement of my status, and the doors fly open, letting me teleport to the Upside Down? And I feel Sydney's energy big time here. If I was waiting in a chamber for challengers, I would definitely be sitting in a chair. I open with Multigrain against his Mightyena. I actually don't have Power Up Punch here. Whoa, so a Play Rough will have to suffice. And it most certainly fices. So fairly. one might even say. I have leftovers on multigrain, so she heals away any superficial damage these fools try and throw my way, including the fake out that Shiftry opens with, before being decimated by another play rough. Sharpedo's Aquajet and Rough Skin brings multigrain down under half before lefties, and Absol crit Night Slashes multigrain down pretty low, but Play Rough is too good and puts them both down. When Cacturn comes out, I make the gut decision to switch over to Banana, and chose correctly as he throws a spiky shield up. Dazzling Gleam ends the battle easily enough, and I move on to Phoebe. This battle was a big old mess, so like usual, let's take this one turn at a time and laugh at my ineptitude together, because that's what friends do. I open with Wonder against Dusclops and bring into the orange with a Shadow Ball as I get confused. Another Shadow Ball connects, killing Dusclops, and this brings out Banette 1. I switch over to Banana, who gets grudged. And not quite knowing what Grudge does, I switch back to Wonder, who gets grudged as well. Then both Wonder and Banette drop a Toxic. I for some reason miss Banette using Toxic and make the incorrect conclusion. Oh, Grudge makes me take the status effect that I inflict. Okay, cool. I switch over to Multigrain where I Iron Defense. For reasons. Shadow Ball does roughly half, so I do what I should have done in the beginning and crunch kill the Banette. Dusknoir comes out, goes into the orange from another crunch, and brings Multigrain down to 22 with a Hex. Seeing that I've outsped, I finish Noir off with another crunch. Banette 2 comes out, and I swap over to Pumpkin, who I've forgotten to teach moves to after deleting Dive and Surf. So she has Aqua Tail and Play Rough. Aqua Tail does dirty damage, but Pumpkin gets burned, so I guess almost killing wasn't good enough for me, and I switched to Play Rough, which does less than half, go back to Aqua Tail, which just fails to kill. Phoebe heals up again, and Pumpkin has exhausted her Citrus Berry, and is starting to look pretty hurt. So I swap over to Banana, who takes pretty decent damage from a Shadow Ball, but then finally kills with a Shadow Ball of her own. Sableye last, and despite trying to stall with a fake out, gets rocked by a Dazzling Gleam, ending the battle and letting me proceed on to Glacia. I quickly teach Pumpkin some moves. Sorry again, dude. And against Glacia, I open with Pumpkin and power up Punch twice while getting chipped by some weak moves in Hail, and finish it off with a Brick Break. Once Glalie is down, I drop a Brick Break off on Walrein, which leaves him in the red, where he tries to f***ing sheer cold me. What a dick. It misses, and Glacia full restores as I Brick Break again, bringing Walrein back down to a sliver. And a Power Up Punch finally brings Walrein down. Frostlass comes out, who gets brutalized by a Play Rough. Whoa, deja vu. Glalie comes out, who gets killed by a Brick Break, and whoa, deja vu again. Just like Brawly in my research notes, Drake just has an LOL written next to his name, so just look at this first Dazzling Gleam and imagine it 4 more times. And with that, I've only got Steven. I open with Pumpkin against Skarmory. He misses his first Steel Wing as, yes, I Power Up Punch. Next turn, Steven lands the Steel Wing, doing 57 damage before taking another Power Up Punch. Skarmory spreads some spikes as Pumpkin keeps getting bigger with a third Power Up Punch. A 4th punch lands after Steven hits Pumpkin with another Steel Wing. Next turn, I'll give you a moment to guess my move. A 5th Power Up Punch leaves Skarmory in the red, while their Steel Ring brings Pumpkin to the orange. Knowing Steven will heal, I just throw a 6th and final Power Up Punch, getting my sweep ready. Skarmory lays a 2nd layer of spikes, and Brick Break leaves Skarmory on, I'm gonna say 1 HP. And as a final FU, Skarmory uses Toxic and dies. What a douchebag. Cradily comes out, goes down to a single Brick Break, and Toxic brings Pumpkin down to 101 HP. Aggron comes out, Sturdy procs, Iron Tail brings Pumpkin down to 22 after lefties, and Toxic kills her. That doesn't feel good. So I bring Multigrain out to do some unique strategies. Steven heals up and I throw 2 power-up punches. Earthquake brings her down to 33, but a 3rd power-up punch kills Aggron. Steven brings out Claydol, who I guess is faster than Multigrain, and an Earth Power kills her. That feels equally as bad. So I send out Banana and Calm Mind as Claydol light screens. And I decide to try and waste some more of the light screen and Calm Mind a 2nd time and get hit with a pitiful Extra Sensory. Extra Sensory is even more pitiful the next turn as I drop a 3rd Calm Mind. And with a 4th Calm Mind, Extra Sensory does 6 damage. But I'm not done. I need to be ready for Metagross in the back, and I set a 5th Calm Mind. I get super greedy, and then set a 6th Calm Mind, and as soon as I do, I just hope that Claydol doesn't set another light screen. Fortunately, they set a Reflect, and I'm home free. Shadow Ball kills Claydol, Dazzling Gleam kills Armaldo, and even through the Mega Evolution, Shadow Ball kills Metagross, ending the battle and the game. Steven drops some sick Jaden Smith style tweets, and I've done it. A fully completed run of Omega Ruby using only Fairy type. I really want to thank you for coming on this journey with me. I've never ever actively used Fairy types other than Granbull, and now I can see why they're considered so good. Which is strange, since fairy dreams are always a cakewalk for me personally. I guess that's the difference between their crummy AI and my slightly less crummy BI. I really wasn't expecting 3.5 encounters to be able to make it through an entire game, let alone the region that kicked my ass so thoroughly just a year ago on my first video. I know that whole starting with Sapphire part was kinda weird, but I feel I mostly used it to familiarize myself with my encounters, which allowed me to pretty easily breeze through the game once I knew what I was working with. I can't wait to keep providing this type of content for all of you. If there's anything you ever want to see, just leave it down below in the comments and I'll do whatever I can. And hopefully, if you enjoyed this video, I'll see you in the next one.